If you breathe through your nose, you can't do what? You still remember the culture check. That is outstanding. So, we are going to start off with a presentation by Devin Maghen. It's about life, and it is about perseverance. He has persevered himself. Please give him 100% attention and listen to the message. Devin Maghen.
Hi guys, my name is Devin Maghen. Some of you may be familiar with me and my story. I graduated from Pali 2 years ago. Once upon a time, I was sitting in your seat, listening to someone who sounded concerned for me, but at the time, I could care less what they were saying because I thought this would never happen to me. I'm here to tell you my story and let you decide. Let you understand how serious and how possibly deadly driving a car, a 2-ton piece of metal, could be, and how my life has forever changed because of a moment that I may have been distracted. Before my injury, I was a typical teenager.
Behind.
I was a good student with honors in AP courses. I was a martial artist with a black belt in Taekwondo, and I loved to play the piano. I had a great group of friends with whom I loved to hang out and mess around with. Like I said, typical teenager. But I'm here to talk to you about how fragile life is and how I had to learn that the hard way. I'm hopeful that through speaking with you today, I will be able to save your lives or save you from being in a crippling accident by sharing my experience with you. On January 6th, 2012, winter break of my junior year, having earned my license just 3 months prior, I picked up my best friend Ariel so we could go to Westwood to hang out and get some ice cream. It was around 5:30 p.m. on a Friday. I was driving us down Sepulveda when I lost control of my car and made a sudden and unexpected left turn into oncoming traffic. I have no memory of the accident, so I cannot tell you exactly what happened, nor what led to it. But what I do know is I was a teenager with a new toy that nearly took our lives. What you're about to see may be shocking to most, but unfortunately, this is my reality, and I'm here to hopefully prevent it from becoming your reality. I suffered strokes from internal bleeding in my skull. My skull needed to be cut into pieces and stored in a freezer for a couple of weeks so drains could relieve the bleeding pressure around my brain. But the emergency operation was not fast enough to save me from having several strokes in different parts of my brain. As a result, now I'm legally blind. I can't remember what people say to me. I have a lot of trouble figuring out how to find my way around places, and I need to constantly refer to my text messages so that I can keep track of my plans and what people say. Due to the impact trauma to my head, I was in a coma for about 3 months. My parents and the doctors had no idea when or even if I would eventually wake up. The best the people around me could do was wait and hope for the best. Thankfully, I survived my time in the ICU, and once I was in a more stable condition, I was admitted to an inpatient rehab center for minors called Children's Hospital Los Angeles, where I eventually woke up and was reunited with Aria. There, I would go through my daily dose of very basic physical, speech, and occupational therapies. I was not allowed to go home. I stayed there for 4 months which I should have spent hanging out with friends, growing socially, and learning the appropriate grade level curriculum, as the average 16-year-old should be doing. Here at Children's Hospital, I had to relearn how to walk, to talk, to see, to hear, and even to... Excuse me. Here at Children's Hospital, I had to relearn how to walk, to talk, to eat, to hear, and even to see again with my recovering brain. It was just like being born again. They even needed to put a diaper on me because of the lack of brain connections to keep me from peeing every time I felt the urge. How embarrassing to be a 16-year-old guy who wore diapers, had to have his butt wiped by his parents, had to be spoon-fed, couldn't tie his shoelaces, and didn't even understand how to make his body lay down after saying goodnight to his parents. Simple concepts like how one eats with a fork but writes with a pen, I had to relearn here. It was very difficult, but our friends and family were very understanding and were there every step of the way to help us along the path and keep us encouraged. We shed many tears, had many breakdowns, and failed numerous times, but Ariel and I stuck together no matter what. Once my basic human functions were relearned,
Next one.
Once my basic human functions were relearned, I was discharged from Children's Hospital. However, accommodations had to be made at home to keep me safe. Because of my poor balance and inadequate vision, my parents had me sleep inside a tent that could only be opened from the outside, so I wouldn't fall at night. All steps in my house were marked with colorful tape because I was unable to tell where the edge of each step was. The next step for me was regaining the more complex human abilities so I could be able to attend very simple classes at school and continue my path to a high school diploma. Living at home was not possible, and Ariel and I were accepted to an outpatient rehab center called Center for Neuroskills. 6 months after our accident, we were ready for more intense and serious therapies, and CNS was just the place. The real work began here. I was thoroughly tested and pushed to my limits every day. But after a year of therapy, CNS told my parents that there was nothing else they could do for me. I just had to go out and figure it out, even though I was still in bad shape. Next, I needed to work on general life skills. I eventually made my transition back into society as a very low-functioning person. I graduated from Pali a year after my friends due to the units and courses I missed while I was in different hospitals. Now, it is up to me and my family and friends to find any help I can get with the remaining deficits I live with. My life has become recovery, and as such, I'm constantly pushing myself, and my family is always looking for things to try that may help me recover even more of my abilities. Therapy has become my life. Every day, I wake up to an hour of vision therapy to hopefully expand my visual field since I have tunnel vision due to my strokes. Right now, if I look out into the audience, I can only fit a small fraction of the visual circle that most, if not all of you see when you look forward. It's like looking through a tube. My parents are my aides in this journey and are always planning things for me to do and researching how I can get better with therapy and medicines. I've visited and worked with more doctors and therapists in the past 4 years than most people see in a lifetime. Here, you see a picture of me in one of my training sessions. That black oval with a partial white area on top is my latest visual field test. When the average person is tested, the entire oval is white. The black parts represent the loss of vision I have, and the white represents what vision I have left. I continue to try my best in everything I do now because of what I've been through. I'm a less functional person in society. I have trouble seeing things in my limited visual field. It's hard for me to figure out how to find my way around the city, and I have difficulty with short-term memory. Most people would give up, but I love life too much, and because of my experience, there is nothing that will make me give up since I didn't give up on life. I hope I have given you all the awareness to be careful when driving a car or getting in someone else's car, and even more than that, I hope I have inspired you all to never give up, to push through any challenges you may be facing, and I hope I've reinforced the reality of how fragile